Strange things unfold when numbers align with time. Across centuries, sages and masters observed that certain dates carry more than just days on a calendar. They carry rhythm. They carry energy. September 21st, 2025 is one of those rare moments when cycles converge and a silent current moves beneath the surface of ordinary life. In Shaolin teaching, nothing is accidental. Every step, every breath, every number has a pattern. The masters believed that numbers are not only symbols, but keys that unlock awareness, discipline, and harmony with the universe. On this day, the 21st, hidden patterns rise to the surface. The number itself speaks of balance, of the closing of one cycle and the quiet beginning of another. Throughout history, kings, scholars, and monks looked at numbers as more than mathematics. They were codes, ancient calendars, sacred texts, and even Shaolin breathing techniques were aligned with these hidden sequences. When used with focus, numbers create rhythm within the body, order in the mind, and clarity in the spirit. In this video, you will learn how powerful numbers reveal themselves on September 21st and how to use them in your daily life for mastery and inner strength. You will discover overlooked wisdom, the kind that is not found in modern books but in centuries-old practice. Stay with me until the end, because the deeper meaning of this number is not revealed quickly. It unfolds like a monk's training, step by step. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, a space where we bring together ancient wisdom and living practice. If these teachings resonate with you, support this journey by subscribing. Together, we will walk the path of discipline, silence, and power hidden in plain sight. The ordinary world hides its secrets in plain sight. Most people walk through life without noticing the rhythm beneath their steps or the silent order guiding each moment. But Shaolin teaching reminds us mastery begins when the eye sees beyond appearances, when the heart listens to what others ignore. In the monastery, even the simplest movements are never without meaning. A bow is not just respect, it is humility training the spirit. A strike is not only strength, it is discipline carving focus into the body. When I was young, my master corrected me often. I thought my movements were strong, but he would say, "Your power is blind if it does not see the pattern." Slowly, I learned that true strength is not in force, but in awareness. The same truth applies to numbers and time. To the untrained, a number is just a symbol on a page. To the mindful, each number carries a vibration, a pulse that reflects the harmony of the universe. In Shaolin practice, we count breaths, steps, and repetitions, not only to measure, but to align ourselves with rhythm. 1 becomes focus, 2 becomes balance, 3 becomes harmony. The sequence itself begins to train the mind until order is no longer outside of us, but within. When we understand this, the world changes. The falling of a leaf, the cycle of a season, the turning of a calendar, all are part of a pattern that can guide our actions. September 21st is not just another date. It is a signal. When seen through Shaolin eyes, even the passage of time becomes a teacher. And in this teaching, every number reveals a path. Every rhythm invites us deeper into mastery. There are moments when numbers speak like quiet teachers. To many, they appear as simple marks, useful only for counting or calculation. Yet ancient traditions saw deeper meaning. Numbers were not accidents. They were codes, reflections of the hidden order of life. In the old monasteries, numbers were woven into training. A disciple was told to repeat a form 10 times, not for the body alone, but for the mind to learn patience. Breathing was guided by measured counts, not to control air, but to reveal balance between inner and outer worlds. Each number became a mirror, reminding the student of discipline, of steady rhythm, of the quiet courage required to walk the path of mastery. To call a number powerful is not to surrender to superstition. Its power is not in luck, but in awareness. When attention gathers around a number, the mind grows sharp, the spirit grows still. It becomes a marker pointing us back to truth, to focus, to the place within that is unmoved by noise. The ancient masters taught that when you focus on a number with full awareness, it ceases to be only a symbol, it becomes a doorway. Counting steps during meditation, holding silence for a set time, or aligning breath with rhythm, all of these practices reveal the number as a living guide. In this way, numbers remind us of the laws we often forget. Discipline shapes freedom, patience strengthens endurance, and awareness unlocks hidden strength. To engage with a powerful number is to engage with oneself. It calls for steadiness, for sincerity, and for alignment with inner truth. Through this, the ordinary transforms into practice, and practice transforms into mastery. Sunday has long carried a special weight in the rhythm of human life. It is the day when the old week bows and the new one quietly rises. For monks, warriors, and seekers of wisdom, this was not a day of idleness, but a day of renewal, a sacred pause before stepping into another cycle of effort and growth. In Shaolin teaching, renewal is as vital as discipline. Without renewal, effort becomes exhaustion. Without pause, rhythm is lost. Sunday, resting at the threshold of change, becomes the perfect ground for planting intention. When one counts, breathes, or prays with awareness on this day, the practice is amplified. The number does not float alone. It sinks deeper, anchoring itself at the root of a new rhythm. The ancients often marked their weeks, moons, and seasons with ceremonies of stillness. A Sunday meditation, a Sunday vow, or a Sunday fast was not chosen by accident. It was chosen because this day carries the energy of beginnings. To align with it is to align with the natural flow of cycles, just as rivers reset with the rains and trees renew themselves in spring. Numbers on a Sunday serve as reminders. The count of breaths can cleanse the mind, the count of steps can steady the body, the count of moments in silence can prepare the heart. Each one becomes a declaration of readiness, a signal to the universe that discipline has been chosen again. To honor this day is to honor the principle of rhythm. Renewal does not happen by chance. It happens by presence, and when presence meets number on the day of renewal, the ordinary week is no longer ordinary. It becomes a cycle of mastery built upon awareness and intention. A number without awareness is like a bell that no one hears. It sits silent, carrying potential, but without a mind to meet it, nothing awakens. In the Shaolin path, the true power never lies in the external form. It lies in the attention given to it. Numbers are no different. By themselves they are neutral, but when embraced with mindfulness, they become living symbols of order, harmony, and discipline. Consider the practice of counting breaths. To simply breathe and tally the numbers is an empty act. Yet when the breath is observed with presence, every count sharpens the mind. 1 brings focus, 2 creates balance, 3 begins to weave harmony. The number becomes more than a marker. It becomes a guide, leading the mind away from distraction and into clarity. Ancient masters knew this truth well. They paired numbers with rituals, chants, and movements. Not because the numbers had magic hidden inside them, but because mindfulness unlocked their hidden rhythm. The disciple who repeated a sequence 30 times learned not only the form, but also patience. The one who sat for a set number of breaths was not chasing the number itself, but the discipline and calmness it produced. Mindfulness transforms the number into a mirror. It reflects the state of one's spirit. If the mind is restless, even reaching 5 feels difficult. If the mind is steady, 1,000 may pass like a river flowing. The lesson is not in the count itself, but in the awareness carried through it. Thus, numbers teach us not through force, but through presence. When held with mindfulness, they reveal the hidden order that flows beneath life, turning simple repetition into a doorway toward mastery. Breath is the first teacher, the silent rhythm that carries life through the body. In Shaolin practice, every breath is intentional, measured, and aligned with purpose. Numbers become companions to this rhythm, guiding the inhale and exhale, shaping not only the body but the mind and spirit. Inhale for 4 counts, pause for 2, exhale for 6. Each measure creates harmony, each pause cultivates stillness. In the monastery, I watched the older monks count their breaths as if reading a secret language written in the air. The count was not for discipline alone. It was a method to center themselves, to balance the tension between energy and calm, strength and softness. Power without stillness becomes reckless. stillness without power becomes stagnant. By pairing breath with numbers, the Shaolin path teaches how to carry both. This rhythm does more than calm the body. It shapes awareness. Each number marks a step in a silent journey inward. When the mind wanders, the count returns it to the present. When the heart races, the rhythm steadies it. Breath becomes a teacher. Numbers become a guide. And together they create a space where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, where the body and mind meet as one. Even in action, this principle holds. A punch, a stance, a form, each can be counted, measured, and synchronized with breathing. The numerical rhythm trains not just movement, but mastery over distraction, over fatigue, over thought itself. It is a dialogue between the finite and the infinite, a way to ground energy in discipline while opening the doors to awareness. Through breath and number, the Shaolin way transforms simple repetition into meditation, energy into presence, and movement into mastery. Each cycle is a lesson, each pause a teacher, and in the stillness between counts, the spirit learns its true rhythm. Each number carries a weight far greater than its face value. In Shaolin teaching, numbers are not merely tools for counting, they are markers along the path of mastery. One becomes more than a digit. It becomes a step, a stage in the journey of self-discipline and awareness. One is focus, the single point where mind and body meet. Without this, no other step can stand. Two is balance, the steadying of energy between extremes, the recognition that strength without control collapses under its own force. Three is harmony, where focus and balance merge and the rhythm of life begins to feel natural, flowing, and unforced. I recall sitting in silence during early morning training, counting each movement in my mind. Each number carried intention. With the first step, I centered myself. With the second, I adjusted posture, grounding every muscle. With the third, the mind, body, and spirit felt connected. It was not magic. It was awareness cultivated through discipline, repeated day after day. As the numbers grow, so does the lesson. 4 becomes patience. 5 becomes courage. 6 becomes clarity. Each progression is subtle, almost invisible, yet unmistakable to the one who practices faithfully. The number is not just a measure, it is a mirror, reflecting where the mind wavers, where energy falters, where the spirit hesitates. Following the sequence, one climbs a ladder toward higher awareness, each step reinforcing mastery over the self and over circumstance. Ancient texts often spoke of the ladder of numbers as a metaphor for training the soul, not just the body. To move through the numbers consciously is to move through the stages of life deliberately, to recognize that every moment carries potential for growth. Each number is a teacher, each count a lesson, and each step along the ladder brings the practitioner closer to harmony, balance, and the quiet mastery that defines the Shaolin way. There is a moment after the last count, a pause so quiet, it feels almost like the world is holding its breath. In that silence, the lesson of the numbers is revealed. True power does not reside in the sound of counting, the movement of the body, or even in the visible mastery of technique. It resides in the stillness that follows, the space between action and awareness where the mind settles and the spirit opens. Shaolin masters often spoke of emptiness not as lack, but as fullness. Empty space is full of strength, they would say. A hall may be silent, yet it hums with energy. A posture may hold still, yet it radiates power. The numbers, repeated with discipline, lead to this silence. Each count prepares the mind, each repetition clears the noise, until the practitioner reaches a point where nothing is added or taken away, and yet everything is present. I remember the first time I experienced this. After completing a long sequence, my hands rested, my chest rose and fell with measured calm, and the whole seemed to breathe with me. The numbers themselves had vanished, but their effect remained. My awareness had deepened, my focus sharpened, and a quiet strength filled the space around me. It was not in the counting, it was in the pause that followed, in the unspoken, unseen energy that now moved through body and mind. The lesson extends beyond training. In life, the moments after effort, after decision, after speech hold the same potential. The silence behind action is where clarity grows, where discipline solidifies, and where inner mastery reveals itself. Numbers teach the rhythm, but silence carries the essence. To honor this pause is to honor the depth of practice, the subtle power that flows quietly yet profoundly through the Shaolin path. Dates, like numbers, carry rhythm and meaning. September 21st, 2025, is not merely a point on a calendar. It is a marker, a moment when cycles intersect and the universe offers a subtle invitation to pause, reflect, and realign. In Shaolin understanding, moments such as these are reminders that time itself is a teacher, and the attentive mind can read its lessons. The number 21 holds a quiet significance. In ancient philosophy, it symbolizes the completion of one cycle and the readiness to enter the next. It is the end of accumulation and the beginning of mastery. To encounter this number consciously is to encounter an opportunity to examine where focus has strengthened, where balance has been tested, and where the mind remains untrained. Each step of practice, each repetition of discipline finds its reflection in this alignment, revealing gaps and openings for growth. Monks have long observed that certain days are best suited for meditation, reflection, and intention setting. The day carries its own energy, subtly shaping the mind of the practitioner who honors it. September 21st is such a day, a point where awareness can meet rhythm, where breath can sync with the natural flow of life, and where silence can uncover clarity. To pause, to breathe, and to count with mindfulness on this day is to anchor oneself at the threshold of a new phase. Through such practice, the ordinary becomes profound. A date transforms from a mark on paper into a guidepost for self-mastery. The number 21 is more than a number. It is a signal. Completion is not an end, but a readiness. Discipline, focus, and presence converge, offering a chance to step into the next cycle with awareness and intention. In recognizing this alignment, the practitioner begins to embody the quiet mastery that underlies all Shaolin practice. Everyday life holds countless opportunities for practice. If the mind is awake to them, numbers can transform these ordinary moments into subtle exercises of mastery. Counting steps on a walk, breaths in meditation, or even moments of deliberate silence becomes more than routine. It becomes a discipline that shapes awareness and strengthens inner control. In the monasteries, monks would walk through courtyards slowly, counting each step, not to measure distance, but to measure presence. The mind could wander, but the number would anchor it. One step, one breath, one silent pause, each became a reminder to return to awareness, to align body and mind, and to cultivate patience. Over time, these small acts compound, building steadiness and clarity in ways that are almost invisible until they reveal themselves in moments of challenge or decision. Numbers also carry intention. Counting is not merely mechanical, it is deliberate. To count a breath fully. To honor each step with attention is to declare that this moment matters. Ordinary movement transforms into sacred ritual. Ordinary silence transforms into strength. Each number becomes a thread weaving discipline into the fabric of daily life, creating a pattern that connects the mundane with the profound. Even in action, numbers teach subtle mastery. Repeating a form 15 times, pausing for 10 breaths, or observing a series of silent counts trains the mind to hold focus, even when distractions arise. Life itself becomes a practice space, a canvas for mindfulness, and a laboratory for inner growth. Through this approach, discipline is no longer external. It flows naturally from awareness. Numbers, once abstract, become living guides, turning everyday habits into stepping stones toward harmony, control, and the quiet power of mastery. The ordinary is transformed, not by force, but by attention, rhythm, and presence. Numbers are never mere symbols. They are mirrors reflecting the state of the mind and spirit. When met with presence, patience, and intention, they reveal hidden strength and guide the practitioner toward balance, focus, and mastery. September 21st, 2025 offers a moment to pause, to slow the breath, and to count with full awareness. In this simple practice, the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary, and silence becomes the path to inner power. Take these lessons into your daily life. Let each step, each breath, Each moment of mindful counting reminds you of discipline, harmony, and the quiet mastery that flows from awareness. Even the smallest act, when performed with intention, carries the energy of growth. May this day serve as a gentle invitation. Observe the rhythm, honor the numbers, and let their guidance lead you towards stillness and clarity. If these teachings resonate with you, join our community by subscribing to Shaolin Soulfire. Together, we will walk the path of discipline, presence, and inner strength, one mindful step at a time.